Okay, I think we can start, right? So, hello everyone. I'm currently in my pre-final year of computer science, and honestly, I think this is probably the most important phase of my college life. I'm saying this because I have roughly around 1 year left before I graduate and steps into the real world. And there's one question that keeps coming back to me, and like, what can I actually build? No. What technologies do you know? Not. How many certificates do you have? Not even. And what's your CGPA? But things like what can you actually build when someone gives you a real problem? And that process has completely changed the way I am approaching the next phase of my life. Right. So in this video, I want to tell you who I am and what I am currently learning, what I am building, and most importantly, where I want to go. Right. And also why I am documenting all of this. Right. So let's start with our first chapter, who I am. So I'm Anand. I am a pre-final year computer science student, and like probably a lot of people watching this, I started learning programming without really knowing where it was going to take me. At first, it was just learn a program language, then solve some beautiful problems, right? And then build websites, then learn another technology. Then suddenly, there are hundreds of things that you are supposed to know, like C++, Python, JavaScript, and you have TypeScript, right? Then you have React, backend, database, cloud, Docker, Kubernetes, Kafka, system designs, LLM, GenAI, agentic AI, machine learning, deep learning, and your natural language processing is NLP. And then you open LinkedIn and someone is building an AI startup at 19, right? And someone else has solved 700 plus lead code problems, and someone has three internships, and also someone is contributing to open source projects. And you are sitting there thinking, am I already behind? And I think a lot of students experience this. And honestly, I have experienced this too. Right. So things like eventually I realized something. I don't need to know everything, and I definitely don't need to learn something just because everyone else is learning it. What I need is a strong foundation and the ability to actually build, because there's a huge difference between saying, "Yeah, I know React," and actually being able to sit down, look at a problem, design something, write the codes, debug it, deploy it, and make it work, right? And there's the kind of learning, oh sorry, and there's the kind of engineer I want to become in my career, right? I don't want my learning to stop at tutorials. I don't want to spend years collecting new technologies. I want to be able to take an idea, turn it into a real system, and actually ship it. And that's when I started building my own path, right? Uh, and right now, I'm trying to build a pretty broad but connected foundation. The first part is DSF and problem solving. I'm doing this in C++ because I don't want to just memorize solutions. I want to understand how to approach a problem, how to recognize patterns, how to break a problem down, how to think when the answer is not obvious, because I believe that's one of the foundation of becoming a good software engineer. Then there's a full stack development. I've been working with things like JavaScript, React, Node.js, Express, MongoDB, and also Python and Django first day. And the reason I am learning full stack is not because I want to put one developer in my bio. It's because I want to understand what actually happens when an idea become a product, like front end, back end, database, APIs, authentication. Then you have deployment, then you have CI, CD, right? And all the messy stuffs that happens between I have an idea and someone can actually use it. And then there's the area I'm probably most obsessed with right now, AI, artificial intelligence, right? Like, as we all know, that AI is moving incredibly fast, right? And I don't want to be someone who just knows how to type a prompt into chat GPT, obviously, right? And I want to understand what's happening underneath, how models interact with applications, and how tools works, how agents works, how memory works, right? And like how systems maintain states, and also how you can actually build useful software around these models. So, like I started learning about agentic AI and also generative AI as well. And like instead of just watching tutorials, I decided to build an AI agent myself. Right. Like at first, it was incredibly simple. I could send a message to my model and get a simple response. That's it. But then I started asking myself that what if the AI could actually use a tool? So I did something. I gave it a tools, a calculator, a character counting tool, and a web search tool. Right now, the system was not just generating text, it could actually perform actions. And then I thought, okay, but what happens when the AI needs to remember something? And that's where things become much more interesting from the previous part, right? Then I started building a memory system, and that's called as conversation memory. Then we have long-term memory, then we have memory extraction, then memory retrieval. And the system could identify information that might be useful later, store it and retrieve it when needed, right? And that's when I started realizing something that building AI application is not just call an API and get a response. There's so much more happening around the model, right? Like there's the state and there's the memory, there's a tool, and there's decision making, and there's reliability, reliability, sorry, and there's also architecture. And honestly, that's when I find fascinating. Right, I'm still learning all of this. I'm now here near an expert, right? But that's exactly why, why I'm building it because I want to understand it by actually creating it, right? And this is where something else started to make sense to me. Like I realized I didn't want to build just one project. I wanted a place where I could keep experimenting, like try a new idea, build it, break it, and also learn from it, right? And then move on to the next one, and that's that's where the elephant lab came from, right? So the idea behind the elephant lab is very pretty simple. Just like I just wanted to create a space where I could learn, build, experiment, and also share. Um, share what? Share like I'm interested in AI, interested in softwares, interested in products, and I'm interested in AI tools. And instead of just keeping all of that inside my laptop, I just want to turn those ideas into actual things. Some projects will work, yeah, and some will completely fail, and some will probably very terrible, right? And things like that's okay because I think there's something valuable about building things that don't have to be perfect. Like you learn much more when something breaks, right? And you are forced to figure out why. And that's really what I want the Elephant Lab to become. Not just another tech brand, not just another collection of projects, but a place where I can experiment with ideas, build useful things, and share the entire process. And that's also the reason I started making content because I don't want to just build these things privately. I want to document the journey. I want to show what I'm learning and also what I'm struggling with, right? like what works, what doesn't, and hopefully help someone who's working in the same similar path, right? So many of you guys may be thinking why I am making these videos, like uh, because all those stuffs makes this brings me to making videos like I don't want the channels to be a place where I'm pretend to be an expert because I'm not. I'm still a student. I'm still uh, learning. I'm still making stupid mistakes. I'm still googling things, and I'm still getting stuck on bugs that should probably take 5 minutes and somehow takes 3 hours. Seriously, yeah. But I have discovered something. Like teaching forces you to understand when you are learning something privately, it's very easy to think, yeah, yeah, I understand this, right? But the moment you try to explain it to another person like your friend, you realize something. Wait, I don't actually understand this part of this topic, these concepts, and that's powerful. So I want to use these channels as a public learning journey. I will build something, I will learn from it, and then I will teach what I learned, right? And that's basically the philosophy I want these channels to follow. That's it. Like build, learn, teach, repeat. That's it, right? Now, where am I actually trying to go? Right. So that's probably the hardest questions because I don't have every single step figured out yet, and I don't think I need to, right? But I know the kind of person I want to become. I want to become a really strong software engineer, someone who can understand the problem, design a solution, write the code, and work with a very beautiful team, right? Not beautiful, very uh, ambitious team, right? And understand systems and actually ships real stuffs, real things, right? And I want to get really good at the fundamentals of ESA and computer science, software engineering, systems, and at the same time, I want to understand AI deeply enough to means like enough to build useful things with it, right? And not just follow whatever the latest trend is, but actually understand the technology and experiment with it, right? And also figure it out what can be built, and eventually, I want to build products, real products, things that people actually use. And maybe some of those products will become businesses, maybe some will fail, and maybe I will completely change direction. I don't know really. And honestly, I'm totally okay with that, right? Because right now, my job is not to have everything figured out, right? My job is to become good enough to create opportunities for myself, my own, right? And that's why this next year is so important to me. I have roughly 1 year before I graduate, and I don't want to look back at that year and think I watched a lot of tutorials. I want to uh, look back and see like projects, problem solved, things shipped, things broken, things fixed, things I taught, things I learned, maybe some failures, hopefully some wins, but most importantly, progress. Right. And I want to see a completely different versions of myself 1 year from now. Right. And that's my motive. That's my foundation. Right. Because because I'm saying I learned 50 more technologies, not because I become better at thinking, building, and solving real problems. Right. So if you are watching this and you are also a student like me, maybe you are so confused about what to learn. Maybe you are trying to get your first internship. Maybe you are learning BSA. Maybe you are building your first projects. Maybe you are trying to understand AI, or maybe you have absolutely no idea what you are doing. Right. Honestly, same. But I think that's the interesting part. We don't need to have everything figured out before we start. We can figure it out by building. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to keep learning, keep building, keep in things, keep fixing things, and keep sharing what I discover along the way. Right. So that's me. I'm Anand. I'm a pre-final year CSC student trying to become a really good at software engineering while exploring AI, building products, solving problems, and figure out what I am capable of. Right. And one more thing that I want to say, I don't know exactly where this journey is going to take me, but I know what I am going to do until I found out I am going to build, I am going to learn, I am going to teach, and then I am going to uh, start over and over again. I learn is repeat. Right. Thank you.